Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations. In today's video, we're going to be diving back into some Cookie Run Kingdom and specifically talking about the brand new epic cookies, looking at their skill animations, reading their skill descriptions, and then bringing you guys my overall conclusion on how good I think they're gonna be. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Diving right in, ladies and gentlemen, so the very first cookie we're going to be taking a look at for the epic cookie, and that's going to be Eclair Cookie. Now, I know a lot of confusion has been going on. I thought myself that it was Eclair, like E-N, but there is no N. It's just Eclair. So it's Eclair Cookie. Nevertheless, it's going to be an epic cookie, and it's going to be a support cookie who utilizes this skill called Book of History. And then it basically says, with all of the knowledge and research accumulated over the years, analyzes and identifies the opponent's weakness, cast a weakness debuff to 3 enemies with the highest attack, and then obviously it's going to target cookies first over minions if minions are in play, amplifying the damage that those cookies receive and deals damage. So basically the skill is doing damage on top of providing a weakness debuff to the 3 enemies with the highest attack. If the enemy is defeated while under the weakness debuff, all of your ally cookies gain an HP shield. Obviously, the amount of the HP shield is to be determined, and then it says Eclair's cookie weakness debuff duration is refreshed by its further stack. So essentially, if you already have a weakness of debuff on the enemy cookie, and then you apply it a second time, it will then refresh that timer that is already being applied on that cookie for the weakness buff, or debuff, sorry, that they already have. And then it also further says here that 1 stack duration is 10 seconds and 2 stacks will extend it by 8 seconds. Very interesting. So we essentially got a brand new support cookie that is basically applying a weakness debuff to 3 random enemies on top of doing additional damage to those 3 enemies. The weakness debuff, from all we know currently, is that it's going to make sure that those 3 enemies with the highest attack takes more incoming damage, but we don't know anything outside of that. And then naturally, if one of those cookies happen to die that have that weakness debuff, it's then going to be applying an HP shield to all of your ally cookies, which then absolutely sounds like it could be broken in things like the guild boss battle if the guild boss can essentially take that weakness debuff, which then also, by the way, it does stack and the duration gets extended if you happen to attach it to an enemy that already has a weakness debuff timer. Alrighty, and then officially diving in here to Eclair's skill. By the way, if you didn't know, it sounds like Eclair is being voiced by a male, which then in turn would mean that it's a guy and not a female. So if I happen to refer to it as a female, at least at the beginning of this video or in the past, I apologize. I think it is actually a male. Let's jump in here and check out the overall skill animation. So, once again, just to recap, keep in mind, it's going to be applying a weakness debuff to 3 random enemies from my understanding, and you can see that it's going to be applying the buff right here. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enemies, but only 3 of those 5 have received this little up arrow, which basically means it's that weakness debuff that then makes them take more damage, all right? So, and then not only that, the skill also does damage to those 3 enemies. I don't think the other ones are going to be affected. We're going to see that here in a second. Actually, I guess they don't even show the full thing. Okay, so right here, all 3 of the units get the weakness debuff. You can see that there, and all 3 of them are going to be taking some sort of damage. Now, naturally, they're going to die pretty quick, but nevertheless, ooh, it looks like we can also apply it to some boss stages in the world exploration. That's going to be what this indicator is here. You can see that it's got 2 stacks of the weakness debuff currently going on, which means it takes more damage. Dude, this is going to be very nice. Oh, look at this. It's stacked all the way up to 5, guys. That absolutely means it looks like it's going to be an OP guild boss battle cookie for sure, hands down, especially if you could utilize it on the guild boss. So nevertheless, very, very cool here. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive over to the second new cookie we've got. Once again, it's going to be an epic, and it's going to be T-Night Cookie. And then as you can see here on screen, T-Night Cookie is going to be a brand new epic charge cookie dropping into the game, and it utilizes a skill called Commander's Wrath. It says the Commander's Wrath is going to be inflicting damage to the nearest enemy, obviously targeting cookies first, and leads the battle on, providing a buff for his allies. There are several kinds of available buffs. Each kind is applied to the cookie meeting that required condition. And then it says whenever an allied cookie is defeated, the Wrath of the Commander effect is triggered. And then it says the Wrath of Commander cannot be dispelled and stacks up to 4 times. And then it says at maximum stacks, T-Knight Cookie will become resistant to interrupting effects. So essentially here we've got another frontline charge cookie, hopefully with some good amount of defense and damage resistance via some toppings, but nevertheless, it's going to be applying a buff, it sounds, to all of your allies. And basically, according to whatever buff is being applied, which we still have yet to know exactly what buffs can be applied or not applied, but nevertheless, those buffs seem to not take an effect until after an ally cookie is defeated. So essentially, we've got 5 cookies on the field. He applies a buff to 4 of those cookies. I don't know if he can target himself, but nevertheless, 4 buffs are going to be applied or at least stacked on your cookies, and then they can stack up to 4 times. And then if one of those cookies happens to die, whatever that buff that was on that cookie ends up being triggered. Now, again, we do not know exactly what those buffs are, but it's a very interesting mechanic, and it could potentially be game-changing, especially if those buffs are absolutely OP. Alrighty, and then just like we did with Eclair, we're going to go ahead and jump in here and check out the overall skill animation for T-Knight Cookie. I want to just see exactly what they show us here in the sneak peek trailer now that we have a better understanding utilizing the patch notes. All right, so let's dive in here and check it out. We've got T-Knight Cookie, baby. Let's go. Okay, so obviously his basic attack looks like it does a swing motion, hit all 3 of those. I don't know if it hits more than that, but we gotta see. Looks like we're about to get the ultimate animation here. There we go. Okay, so the ultimate animation it looks like a single target slam. However, it's supposed to apply some sort of Commander's Wrath buff or multiple buffs on your ally cookies. So I'm not exactly sure. It's not showing the buffs. I guess we see, nope, that's the enemy's team that's got the buffs on it, not this team. Okay, so he's going to utilize his ability. But see right here, they don't show him running with any other cookies, so we still don't get to see those buffs being applied. Now, I'm not exactly sure why they give us very, very, very limited and little to no information on T-Knight Cookie besides basically what his skill is supposed to do. But however, we don't get to see any buffs being applied to our cookies. They didn't show a cookie dying and then one of those buffs being activated. They literally have left us with a massive, massive cliffhanger. But nevertheless, guys, absolutely looks awesome. The design looks fantastic. If you guys don't already know, he's got that diamond crest on his chest, which, if you don't already know, DC has that exact same one in game. So I'm not exactly sure how the two are related or how they're correlating, but nevertheless, it is going to be a very, very awesome update, and I am super excited. Just to wrap up my conclusion here, I think Eclair is probably going to take number 1 from the looks of it out of these 2 epic cookies dropping into the game. I think Eclair being a support unit, and not only that, he's got a crazy, crazy skill in that I think that we don't even understand the true potential until we can get in game and actually start utilizing him and testing him, especially when it comes to things like the guild boss. If those debuffs can be stacked up on the guild boss, it's going to be absolutely broken. And then with that being said, guys, I think that is going to wrap up for today's video. I just wanted to get in here, show you guys the skill animations, talk and break down exactly my understanding of the skills descriptions in the sneak peek patch notes. And then not only that, guys, I'm just curious on what your thoughts overall are on these 2 cookies. I personally think that it's going to be a awesome, awesome update, and I'm very excited for all the new guild stuff and the guild overhaul that they're bringing to the game. Cream Puffs buff, just a bunch of really, really cool things. As always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything Cookie Run Kingdom related. I cover it here on the channel. Not only that, make sure you got that bell turned on, guys. I'm telling you, so many subscribers are saying they are not getting my notifications, whether I'm going live or when I post a video. You gotta have that bell ticked on if you want those. And as always, guys, don't forget to join the Discord. We got a link provided down below in the description, and I will see you guys on the next one.